Alrighty, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Very honored to have you here in our today's video. So today, we're speaking about anxiety, specifically how to better recognize your anxiety, how to better understand it, and ultimately, how to heal it so that it doesn't cripple you and everything it is that you do in your life. And I'm very conscious that there's a lot of people that deeply struggle with different forms of anxiety. And then there's a lot of different disorders that are also directly correlated to anxiety as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's jump right in. So the first thing that we want to understand about anxiety as an emotion, like the first place, is with the foundational awareness that there is no such thing as a bad emotion. Now, of course, there are emotions that are very uncomfortable, but I want you to understand that your emotions, especially the uncomfortable ones, can often be what we could call trailheads to deeper root things that need to be processed. And then they could be like correlated something similar to the engine light on your car. You know, when there's a problem going on inside of your car, your engine light turns on and that kind of alerts you that something's wrong. You know, when we're dealing with high levels of anxiety or whatever other emotions that are kind of similar in nature and we can't really understand why or what's going on, it's not just a random burden. It's not because you're defective. It's not because you're different than everybody else and something's wrong with you. It's because there is now, an alert system that's going on inside of your body in the form of anxiety that's trying to help you process something and ultimately trying to help you see something that's much deeper rooted. Okay, so anxiety in itself oftentimes is a manifestation of a trapped fight or flight response. So if you're in a situation that you are wanting to flee from or you're wanting to fight against, but you feel like you don't have the capacity to do that, that's usually when anxiety is going to amplify to its highest degrees and sometimes can influence a freeze response in the nervous system. So from a nervous system lens, we're looking at more so of a dorsal vagal shutdown state mixed in with a little bit of a sympathetic fight or flight that's frozen in the system, which once again can lead to a lot of anxiety because you truly do want to, flee or you want to fight, but you don't really feel like you can. So then your body starts producing a lot of anxiety as a response, because of that trapped energy that's not really able to move through or able to express. And if that anxiety builds up, to such a high level, then it can easily turn into a panic attack. Okay? So you might be wondering, okay, that's understandable. I think I can resonate with that. So then what do I do to resolve this? How do I actually heal this anxiety in my system so that it's not causing a bunch of unnecessary pain and havoc in my life? Well, the first place that you do have to start with this is you have to start with acceptance. And I know that this is not what a lot of people really want to hear. It's not what people really want to dive right into, but I promise you this is the foundation of how you're actually going to resolve this and how you're actually going to heal. You have to truly start with acceptance and once again realize there are no bad emotions. So the more that you are resisting your anxiety by trying to dissociate from it or avoid it or escape it, the more that anxiety is going to keep building up in its energetic charge, and it's going to be even more debilitating. So you actually have to learn to be present with that feeling because it is a trailhead emotion, meaning there is a deeper part of you that is repressed, that is needing your attention And in many ways, it's sending you this emotional signal of anxiety, and it's causing your nervous system to freeze up because this part of you, this repressed part of you, has been repressed for a very long time, and it's basically not having it anymore. It's like, hey, you're going to pay attention to me, you're going to integrate me, and you're not going to push me down anymore. I'm here. Okay, so simply coming into a form of acceptance with the anxiety in the way of being present with it and being conscious when it shows up, and then not associating it with bad, but associating it with more so of a curiosity. What is this showing me? Why is this here? What potentially goes a little bit deeper behind this feeling that maybe I'm unaware of, or maybe I don't understand? Okay, that's the first place. Now, another layer onto this topic here, specifically with anxiety, is that anxiety is also a manifestation of a lack of safety. So when someone, for example, is not their self and they're operating from, let's say, a protective part of them, and they're identified with a certain protector part of them, it's very easy to deal with high levels of anxiety because at a deeper core level, you know you're not being yourself. Like at a serious, deep, intuitive, instinctual level, you're aware that you are in some way performing, wearing a mask, attached to a persona, but your body is basically saying that's not who you are. So there oftentimes can be this anxiety for the fact that I'm going to expose myself, or I'm going to show who I really am, and I don't think that's appropriate, or I don't think that's safe. So when people have to always identify with their protector parts, and especially if someone isn't aware that that's what they're doing, they really think that's who they are. But remember, it's not who you are. And your soul knows that. Your intuition knows that. Your body knows that. So you can imagine this heightened sense of kind of freezing in the system and this heightened state of anxiety and panic, because it's like you're always worried that your mask, your persona, your identity is being challenged or is going to be exposed, or you're going to lose touch of it. And as soon as you lose touch of it, what does that actually mean for you? You know, what does it mean for you to then move into that more unknown space within your system and be willing to process all of those other energies that are underneath? And that's, that's the formula for most people is, the anxiety, once again, is usually a trailhead emotion that points back to much deeper emotions as well, like fear, a deep-seated shame, a deep-seated anger, a deep-seated unworthiness, a deep-seated sadness, right? These are all emotions that can oftentimes go very repressed within the nervous system or within the body, and we pretend like these don't exist. As I said, we get so attached to these protector parts of us, and we're so unaware that that's what we're doing, that we in some ways we trick ourselves, or we hypnotize ourselves into thinking this is my life, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I believe, this is what I think, this is who I associate with, this is my job. And we have all these layers of wiring and programming that's designed to keep us away from those deeper seated emotions that have literally been there sitting in the body for so long. And of course, that anxiety is now coming out because the body is holding on to the stuff. Your authentic true self knows you need to go into it and you need to be more real with yourself and heal that energy. But once again, we can get so attached to these identities and these parts of us that we completely forget we have a self energy. So it's all about Really it starts with a profound degree of education with what's going on in your system. Because if you don't have an education on what's going on and what you're experiencing and potentially why you're experiencing it, then how are you going to, give yourself enough space and room to go into the deeper repressed stuff that you're actually needing to go through to heal that, to heal the core of it? Because I promise you, when you heal the core wounds and when you create enough safety in your life to be able to go there and be present with those emotions and those feelings, you no longer have a reason for your nervous system to freeze in the same way that it has been freezing. You're no longer afraid to express your fight or flight energy. And you're definitely not afraid to show your vulnerability and to show who you really are and be willing to go into those deeper emotions that, you one time were very resistant to. And then as you're in that level of acceptance, there's no longer a reason for that high level of anxiety to come through the system in the same way that it has been for so many years. There's no longer a reason to have to maintain and uphold this false self or this mask that you've been wearing. You're now like, hey, this is who I am, this is what I am, and I accept me for me, and I'm willing to get curious about my inner process and my system. So once again, there's not much of a reason for that anxiety to be wreaking so much havoc on your life. Okay? So in a nutshell, what you need to understand with this video, if you're struggling with high levels of anxiety, is recognize oftentimes it is a freeze response in your nervous system. It is a stuck fight or flight energy, and it's due to the fact that you're attached to certain protector parts of you that you may not be aware of yet, that you feel you're afraid to let go of and show more of who you truly are. And you're not yet, I guess I would say, you're not yet aware that it's important to get curious about your anxiety and use it as that trailhead to see what's deeper underneath of it. And then be willing to go into those feelings and be present with them. Okay, that is the nutshell of what I want you to know about your anxiety and the process that you can go through to allow yourself to start healing it, because I promise you, you can absolutely heal it. You can experience a life where you're not dealing with that chronic anxiety anymore. Doesn't mean that anxiety won't peek through every now and then, but you don't have to live in chronic anxiety. It can completely change. Okay, so that's the message. That's what I wanted to communicate here. I have a feeling that's really gonna, talk to somebody out there. If you got value from this, thumbs it up. Drop down in the comment section. Let me know if you resonate with this. Let me know if you're someone that is currently struggling with anxiety and if it's hard for you to understand how to work with, and maybe you're confused about it and you feel like it's something that's just gonna be in your life forever. Let me know if that's you. Hit the notification bell and get notified whenever I'm posting, because I'm posting on a consistent basis. Subscribe to the channel, copy and paste the link and send it to someone that you feel like might need to hear this, and definitely check out my Patreon. I have an entire trauma course which will take you from start to finish on everything you need to know to be able to heal this deep-rooted trauma. Exactly what I was just talking about in this today's video. That course, once again, takes you from start to finish on everything you need to know. I promise it could completely transform your life if you take it seriously and you're willing to go through it and honor your process. Okay, now tier number 3 of the Patreon is very unique. This is an actual ritual that I perform on the 29th of every month, and it is a remote energy transfer from me to you as the receiving participant to help surface repressed negative energy inside of your body, to bring it up to your conscious awareness so that you can start integrating it and ultimately releasing it from your system. It's going to help you ground more into your authentic self energy, your true self energy. And then that's going to change your resonance with time. And then that's going to have an effect on the entire world around you. Now, this is not a quick fix process. This is something that you have to commit to and be willing to, really honor in your own way. But I am very confident that this could also be a significant catalyst for your process specifically. So if you want to join about 200 members that are taking place in this on a monthly basis, definitely consider it. All of this is in the first link below. We'll leave it there. Now, the second link is where you can book one-on-one calls with me, or you can jump into mentorships. I have a 6-week and a 3-month mentorship, and this is the most intimate way to personally connect with me, where I get to know you on a personal level and I get to support you in healing your unique trauma that you've been through while helping you to develop a foundation that will also help you heal that trauma but regulate your nervous system in that process. So if that's something you're interested in, I would be honored to connect with you in that way as well. And then the final link is the third one. This is the YouTube memberships, and I would love to have you a part of the family there. Okay, we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.